My time with the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport is quickly coming to an end. It's still here. All of the mods that can be removed with the exception of the bed mat and the all-weather floor mats. Oh, and the, I guess, phone holder that I have clamped in there have been removed. Of course, I could not remove the painted badge on the front, nor would I. I think it looks good. But everything else is off the truck. Now, I say my time is short, or its time is short. Hopefully mine isn't. Because there is going to be a change with this truck. We are replacing it with another Toyota Tacoma. You know I have a problem. I tend to do that. But I gotta say, there are a few things that I will not miss with this Sport. We're going to run through those. Got to jump in. Have to go for a ride because it's going to be one of the few last rides that I'll have. Okay, real quick, just to reiterate what's going on for those who maybe this is your first video or maybe you just hadn't seen a couple of the other previous videos. I am trading this truck in. It's going to be on a TRD off-road 4x4 in a different color. If you don't know the color, go back and check out some of the other videos, or just wait until I have it on the channel. It'll be coming soon. But what are the things that I'm not gonna miss about this truck? First of all, the vibrating hood. You know, it's not a huge thing, but it honestly does bug me once in a while when I notice or I take a look that the hood seems to bounce, well, it doesn't seem to bounce around. It does bounce around on this truck. Probably because it's the Sport with the hood scoop, I would guess. One of the things that's going to be interesting for me to check on the next truck is whether or not it bounces around as well. If it's as loosey-goosey as this one is. And it is quite noticeable, even in heavier just wind or when you're going over bumps and things on the road. Obviously, you're going to notice it then. So I'm not going to miss that, I hope. Next up, the self-lowering seat. You know, it's my problem really because I drag my rear end across the lever that raises and lowers the seat. Every time I get in, every time I get out, I'm pushing on that lever. So the seat is lowering down a little bit every time. And I have to raise it to get the seat back where I want it after I notice it almost every time I drive the truck. I do keep the seat all the way up. I've kind of gotten used to it, and honestly, it's not because I need to. I did it to kind of do my experiment to see if the seat was actually lowering, because I couldn't figure out for the longest time what was going on. Well, obviously, it's me causing the problem, but I'm hoping in the next truck I don't have that issue. Now, if it's power seats, obviously I won't, because the lever or the control for that is not going to be somewhere where I would slide over it getting in and out of the truck, right? But you'll have to wait and see what I end up getting. If it is a manual again, it's probably going to be the same problem because I'm really not going to alter the way I get in and out of the truck. Next up, the dirty paint. You know, I do love the supersonic red. It's a great eye-catching color, right? It's one of those colors that pops, and it's something that typically I go for when I buy a new truck for the channel, because I want something that's going to stand out, right? I want something that people are going to be able to see, something that catches the eye, particularly in thumbnails and screenshots and things like that for all of the social media that I do. The next truck, it's going to be a little bit different. It's a color I have never had in a Tacoma before. I have had the color in other vehicles, only a couple in the past, but never on a truck in a Toyota Tacoma. However, because of the size of the truck, I mean, it's a truck, it's a bigger vehicle, it's going to be eye-catching in itself, I think, because of the brightness of the color, right? Particularly when it's clean. Now, that's the key here, when it's clean. The supersonic red or any really other dark color of paint shows dirt. It shows gray, it shows white, it shows everything when the truck gets dirty, right? I'm not going to have that problem on this new truck, because even though you might think the color that it's going to be would be one that would show more staining and more dirtiness, It's actually not. So I look forward to that, because honestly, I don't like whooshing vehicles. It's one of my least things to do, one of my least favorite parts of ownership, I guess, because it's kind of a conundrum. I do like clean trucks, but I don't like getting them there. And I should maybe not notice it as much on this truck. In other words, it'll be able to be dirty without me really noticing it, unless it's really filthy. I'm looking forward to that. Next up, the blocked, or the obstructed, probably a better word, view because of the hood scoop. You know, the truck, it's difficult to see over the front of anyway. You know, like if you're pulling up next to a curb, or maybe one of those pylon things, those poles at the gas station, you kind of have to guess when you pull up, because you can't see, and there's no front-facing camera, at least not on this model or the next one I'm going to get. So it's going to be nice to not have that hood scoop there. This should give you a hint as to what I'm buying, right? But it won't have that hood scoop there, and I'll have better visibility down the front of the truck. I am looking forward to that as well. I have to say, I don't hate the hood scoop. I really do like the looks of it on the truck. I think the sport version, per its name, looks sporty because of that hood scoop. But nonetheless, it's going to be gone, and I'm looking forward to just having that nice unobstructed view over the front of the truck. Number 5, my ongoing gauge cluster problem. Not that there's anything wrong with it that I know of, but it just won't stick. Now, when I say stick, I mean it does not hold the last setting that I put in, or the last screen that I have it on. And thus far, I have not found any way to be able to do that. The example that I'll use is the tire pressure monitoring system. I like to be able to see the tire pressures in the truck all the time, which is fine. Once I get it set, it stays there for my trip, right? But once I have the truck home and it shuts completely down, it seems to default to something else. I've never been able to maintain that screen in my truck without resetting it every time I start the truck. I don't know if it's any issue. My guess is it's probably more that I just don't know what the heck it is that I'm doing. But I'm going to hopefully look forward to not having that issue in the new truck, and it should stick. I hope. I know it's a petty thing, certainly not a big enough reason to go out and buy a new truck, but nonetheless, it's something that I'm looking forward to. So anyway, in a nutshell, those are 5 things that I'm not going to miss about this truck, I hope. The reason for doing it again is really to get a few extra options. I'm going to have the big radio screen in it. It's going to be a 4x4. It's going to have some other features on it that this truck doesn't have. And I really wanted to experience all of them in the 2024 Tacoma. And also, and I mentioned this in another video, somebody left a comment on the channel. They kind of said that, really, Rob, it's not the 4x2 that you have that's a problem. It's that you have a 4x2 that most enthusiasts don't have. They have 4x4s, and they can't relate to you. I agree with him. If you're gonna talk the talk, you need to walk the walk, right? That's probably, well, it's not probably, it's the biggest reason that I'm making this change, because I don't think that, honestly, I can continue to have this channel and run it without having a 4x4 like many of the people that are subscribed to the channel have. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my 5 things I don't like, particularly if you have the sport version or maybe you're experiencing it in other models. I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.